Hi guys. So am I live? I hope so. Let me check. Am I audible and visible? If somebody is here, please give me a yes or a no. Let's quickly check. The best way is that I check through my own phone that I'm audible, visible, and live. Welcome to CAT 2025 VARC, where we are going to be covering Oh yes, awesome! I am live. I can see myself. Absolutely happy. So if you have joined this session, remember to hit the share button so that this session can be shared with your friends and family and other people who are writing this exam. So whatever groups you're part of, please remember to share this session. It's going to be helpful for anyone who's preparing for CAT 2025. Also, guys, remember to hit the like button so that, of course, we love the likes. Yeah, we love the loves and we love the likes. So please make sure that you're liking the session. Also, remember to hit the subscribe button so that you can subscribe and you can get further notification. Remember to hit the bell icon. That's also very important. Once you hit the bell icon, then we will be able to send you messages as to the next upcoming session, so you can join in on all of these wonderful sessions that we are doing. So for CAT 2025, of course, we've been having, this is probably the 14th session of past year questions that we are covering. I hope these questions are of help to you. What I've tried to do is cover all the 4 examinations that are important. So CAT, XAT, NMAT, and SNAP. I'm covering questions of each of these types so that you're comfortable. When you go into your exam, you do not find any of these question types to be very strange or very awkward, and that you're able to do these very, very well. I hope everybody's hit the like button. If you are able to see me and hear me, give me a yes so that I know that I'm audible and visible, because I'm not able to see myself. So therefore, you need to tell me. Okay, I've got a yes from Samrat. Wonderful. Thank you, Samrat. All right, guys. Today's session, of course, again is a mix of PYQs. We are going to be talking about that. But before we begin, let's quickly take a roundup of CAT 2024. Because CAT 2024 happened just last week. So I do want to take a minute and tell you a little bit about it. So CAT 2024, of course, the VARC had usual 24 questions. DILR had, however, 22 questions as opposed to 20 questions, and QA also had 22 questions. So that made a total of 68 questions to be done in your usual time. Okay, whatever your time is, that is 2 hours. So that was how it was. 40, 40, 40. That was a sectional breakup that we have as usual, right? Now, let's talk a little bit about the VARC section of CAT. So if you look at the VARC section, there were many interesting things that happened. Number one, the section was not clearly divided into the first 16 questions being RC and then the next 8 being VA. This was not there. The numbers remained more or less the same, but the questions were all jumbled up. In fact, in my third slot that I got up, I started with VA questions. My first 5 questions was VA. Then I had an RC, then I had one VA, then I had 2 RCs, then another VA, and that's how it was. So it was all jumbled up. So for all those who were hoping that they'll start with question number 17 and go do the VA, well, you already had a jumbled up section. So you opened up the paper and it was all jumbled up. So that was one very interesting thing. The second interesting thing was that there were only 2 TETA questions here. So we did not have much opportunity to, do the questions and forget about the negatives and so on. The third strange and interesting thing was that there were no para-jumbles in CAT this year. So no para-jumbles at all. Now the para-jumbles that used to come were TETA questions, and that's why the number of TETA questions have reduced. Only the 2 odd ones out were the TETA questions, right? So therefore, that was interesting. The breakup of VA was 3 para summaries, 3 sentence placements, and two odd ones out, which were the two theta questions. So that was how your paper was. Now, if you are to look at reading comprehension, guys, if you were to look at reading comprehension in the CAT exam, I'm giving you a brief so that you understand. The passages, there were four passages. Okay, two of those were from Economist. So that was an interesting thing. The passages were all 450 to 550 words in length. All the passages were very readable. So if you are to look at the FK grade, that means the readability grade would be somewhere between 8 to 14 FK, not higher than that. So it was very readable. Also, if you were to look at the passages, they were very easy, familiar topics, very interesting topics. However, the questions, the options were not so easy. Okay, so the options were very close. Okay, there were two questions from tone. There was one question from figure of speech. So yes, different types of questions did come. There were two questions that had double negatives, so false except stuff like that had come. And there were plenty of inferential questions and plenty of other types of questions. So question breakup was very interesting. We did not have tone for so many years. We did not have anything from grammar, but this year we did have tone, figure of speech, and so on. So very interesting paper for CAT. Once the paper comes out, I will ask all of you to go through the paper, read it, try and take some time out and solve, and so that you get to see what was CAT all about. So that's a little bit about your CAT 2025. Today's session, of course, like every time, we solve questions. So I have some very interesting questions for you. So let's get started. All right, guys, here is your first question. This is a passage. So we'll take a moment, a 2-minute break. You will read the passage and then we will come and try and solve the question. So I'm going to remove myself from the screen and also mute myself. All right, guys, I hope you have read the passage. We will take a look at the passage very quickly. So it says, among the many possible reforms and Efficient and inclusive institutional structure has the potential of changing the worsening conditions of urban centers. In India, municipalities and municipal corporations were created to manage the day-to-day and future needs of the city center. However, they have lost the credibility, so they don't really deliver the services. Then it says, although the 74th constitutional amendment had recommended sweeping changes for the urban local bodies, decentralization and appropriate structure formation, unfortunately, it did not happen at the field level. Local self government is a state subject, and states did not take proactive action. So, there are many issues such as functional devolution, strengthening functional health, fiscal health, comprehensive empowerment, and these are central to the governance. But these did not happen. The OECD listed solidarity and subsidiarity as two basic underlying principles to make the metropolitan government more competitive and efficient. That's not happened. Now, the role of the leader is very crucial for governance of ULBs. The leader does not only have vision, but they also ensure that there is a system in place that will help them realize that vision. For example, Jamie Lerner was a pioneer in introducing the first bus rapid transport system after he was elected the mayor. Xavier Trias, after becoming the mayor of Barcelona, he created this smart city, so which made Barcelona one of the smartest city, and it became pioneer for Internet of Things. So there are many such examples that you will find. So their mayors, the local self-government bodies, have done a lot for the cities, for the places, but that will only happen if they have enough power, they have enough teeth. It cannot be just bark and no bite, right? All right, let's take a look at our questions. Question number 1 says, which of the following is responsible for the worsening condition of the urban centers? Let's take a look. Your answers, please, everyone. Who is responsible for the worsening conditions of the urban center? Let's take a minute and try and see what the correct answer is. Quickly, guys. Is it the lack of decentralization of power? Is it the lack of power bestowed upon municipalities? Is it the lack in implementation of municipal policies? Or is it the loss of credibility of municipalities to deliver services in an efficient manner? Which one of these is the correct answer? Come on, guys, I'm waiting for your answers. I'm going to give you a minute. Read. If you want me to go back to the passage, write in the message passage, I will go back. All right, let's take a look. So here, the first option, which says the lack of decentralization of power, is not the main reason why the urban centers are worsening. So eliminate. Lack of power bestowed upon municipalities by constitutional amendment is incorrect, because the 74th CAA has bestowed powers upon municipalities. So factually incorrect and therefore wrong. Lack of implementation of the municipal policies on ground level is what the passage has said is the correct answer. That constitutional amendment has given power, but it is the implementation that is not happening. So C. Loss of credibility of municipalities is not the main reason, is not the reason why the urban condition centers are worsening. So therefore not false. So the best answer here will be option number C, and that's your correct answer. All right, let's look at the second question. Which of the following is untrue about the role of state governments in handling local self-government? Okay, so you have to find out which one of these is false about the role of local self-government. Let's take a minute, read, and try and identify what the correct answer is. So find the one that is not true. Okay, remember you're looking for the one that is false. Again, I'm going to give you a minute to go through this. Options. Local self-governments find mention under the state subject in the Constitution. States have been complacent in acting upon the incompetency of the municipalities. States have failed to devolve resources to the municipalities for their efficient functioning. A municipality works under the control of the state government in which the city is located. Remember, these are all past year questions. Yes. Let's take a look. So, option number one, local self government find mention under the state subject in the Constitution is true. That is why the state governments are unable to handle local self governments. Option number B is also true that the states are really complacent. They don't care much about whether municipalities are efficient or inefficient. Option number three, that states have failed to devolve resources. They are not giving enough resources to the municipalities for their efficient functioning. This is also true. So therefore, A, B, and C cannot be my answer. Option number D, which says the municipality works under the control of the state government, is false because a municipality is a government unto itself. So it does not work under the control of the state government. And therefore, D is the one that is false and the correct answer. Okay, I hope you got that. All right, let's look at the next question. Question number 3. Which of the following can be inferred? That means it's not written, you have to understand. As the prime metric measure used by author for judging the capability of the leader of the ULBs. Okay, so let's find out which of these is a measure of, the capability of the leader. That yes, the leader is very capable. How do you identify what quality has to be there in the leader? What is the main quality that a leader has to have? Let's take a minute. Let's find out your answers. Come on, guys. What is this prime metric? Now let's take a look. A sound understanding about the problems and requirements of the city. Yes, this is one of the metrics. The ability to form ideas and mechanisms to implement them is also mentioned in the passage. And this one is mentioned in the passage as something that a leader has to have. The quality of being a team player and creating a conducive. This was not mentioned. This cannot be inferred also. The power to crush the opposition and any form of dissent again could not be inferred. Options A and B can be inferred, but let's quickly take a look. Look at the passage. The second part of the passage actually helps to point out the leaders not only have vision for the respective city, they also ensure that there is a well-oiled system in place. So here is where the author is saying something about what a leader has to be. So therefore, forming ideas and mechanisms to implement them is the correct answer. So your correct answer here will be option number B. I hope you got that. All right, let's look at question number 4. Doldrums. What does the word doldrum mean? A state or period of ecstasy and joy, a state of or period of stagnation and depression, a state or period of discontentment and annoyance, a state or period of vulnerability and helplessness. I'm just going to take a moment to see what you say here. Come on, guys. What is the meaning of the word doldrum? You can tell me without even reading the passage. This is a question that you can answer by yourself. Even if you were just to, look it up, you'll be able to find the answer to this question. What does the word doldrum mean? Is it a state or period of ecstasy or joy? A period of stagnation, a period of discontentment, or a period of vulnerability? The correct answer is not ecstasy and joy. If you're in the doldrums, nothing is happening. So it's a period of stagnation and depression, not discontentment and annoyance. You're in that period where you're waiting for something to happen. So therefore, it can be stagnation and depression, not vulnerability and helplessness. So the correct answer here is B, a period of stagnation and depression. That's what doldrum means. Okay. All right, let's go to the next question. Question number 5. I saw a saw that could outsaw any other saw I ever saw. Which of these figures of speech is this sentence using? Is it an alliteration? Is it a homonym? Is it a hyperbole? Or is it a metaphor? Quickly tell me. Come on, guys. This is a very easy question. I saw a saw. Come on, guys. You can answer to this question very quickly. Let's take a look. So, what is an alliteration? When the first consonant is repeated, you call it an alliteration. So, she sells seashells on the seashore is an alliteration. Betty Botter bought some butter, so but the butter was so bitter that Betty Botter bought some better butter to make the bitter butter better. That's an alliteration, right? So alliteration is when the first consonant is repeated. Okay. Homonym is similar words which have similar names. So saw and saw, right? Those are homonyms. Okay. Or see or see. The spelling, my bad. The spellings need to be different, but the names or the words need to be the same. The pronunciation has to be the same. Hyperbole is an exaggeration. I'm so hungry, I could eat a saw. I am so hungry, I could eat a horse. I have such a huge headache, I could die. Nobody's dying of a headache. So that's a hyperbole. A metaphor is a comparison or a comparison of two things, or to find the similarity of two things without using a word of comparison. So, for example, he is a lion in war, right? That means he's as brave as a lion. So there I am using a metaphor. I could also have used a simile and I could have said he is like a lion, right? He is like a lion. That means that I've used the word of comparison like, and therefore it's a simile, right? So therefore that's your metaphor. So of this, I saw a saw that could outsaw any other saw I ever saw. I wanted it to be a homonym. It's not, but alliteration, yes, it is. Because the S, 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 so many S's you will hear, right? So therefore alliteration, and that's your correct answer. All right, let's go to the next question. Jack heard the last slice of pizza calling his name. Is it an allegory? Is it a personification? Is it an anaphora? Or is it an assonance? Very quickly. Take a moment. Oh my God, guys. I think I I read out the entire, explained the entire thing without unmuting myself. My God, my bad. All right, let me quickly repeat. So, an allegory is where a story or a poem or a symbol is used to teach a moral lesson. For example, like Panchatantra. Personification is where the non living or dead person is treated as living. Anaphora is where you repeat the first word across some sentences. And assonance is where the inner vowel is repeated. Okay. So here, because the last slice of pizza is calling his name, which is a very human thing. So this is what is a personification and the correct answer. Okay. All right. Let's look at the next question. Here a sentence is given and it's been written in four different ways and you have to identify what is the correct version. Identify the one that is grammatically and thematically correct and that will be your answer. Okay. Let's do this. Come on, guys, give me some answers. All right, let's take a look at this question. Okay, I've got an A from Samrat. The spirit of freedom. Okay, what is the subject of this sentence? The spirit. Okay, the spirit had awakened, had awakened, had awakened, had awakened is very good. Had awakened had awakened what? The aspiration. So aspiration is the same. Aspiration of oppressed and marginalized minorities. Okay, minority. No, minorities. Yes, minorities will work, not minority. So I'm eliminating options B and D straight away. Okay, minorities as well as suppressed nationalities, as well as, okay, there's another difference, the spirit of freedom and spirit for freedom. So clearly B is incorrect, C is incorrect, D is already incorrect. So the correct answer will be option number A. There are two errors: spirit of freedom, right? So the spirit of freedom, that's the first one, correct option. And the minorities and not minority. Okay, so these two had to be correct, and these two are correct in option number A. So that has to be the answer that we are looking at. All right, let's look at the next one. Question number 8. This is a para jumble. You have to arrange these sentences and give me the correct order. So very simple. I'm going to give you again 2 minutes to read and then solve this question. Your time begins now. All right, let's take a look at this question. Very interesting question. The first sentence had the words "in other words." That means this is a repetition of whatever is already being mentioned. So that was one. The second clue I had was these organizations should act as a with a high degree of whatever. Which organizations are these? The ones that are mentioned here, like the UN, EU, NATO, TPP, etc. So that means 4 and 3 is one pair. Okay. Now with 4 and 3, I got option number 2. Option number 1. Option number 2 had 4, 1, 3. But 1, can it be a reiteration of sentence number 4? No. And therefore B is not a possible answer. None of the others will work because they have 3, 4. The sequence also, if you look in option number C and D, you have 3, 2, 1, 4 and 3, 2, 4, 1. So 3 is coming first and then 4. So that will not work. So the correct answer, correct sequence here will be 2, 1, 4 and 3. So if we are to look at this also, we start with sentence number 2. We need new international security paradigms. Paradigms means new rules, new laws, new perspectives. And then he says, in other words, so he's repeating what he has said here. He says the new world order, which is based on the recognition of the new reality that military, political, social, environmental, cultural, religious, and cyber threats are equally great and important. So we need that. We are getting that. And then he says this should be included. So what is this? That all of this has to be there. This should be included in the new comprehensive security doctrine, which will be adopted universally and will be based on the activities of these organizations. And then these organizations should act with a high degree of cooperation. So 2, 1, 4, 3 then becomes the correct order of sentences. And that is the last question for today, guys. Okay. I will come back next week and we will cover more questions, more ideas. I will tell you a little bit about more about the different exams that we are writing. Of course, we are writing a lot of exams. So I will give you an input as to the different exams. Today, of course, I did give you some input about CAT 2024. So if you want to learn more, just watch the beginning part of this session and you will learn a little bit about it. Thank you so much. I hope today's session was helpful. I will see you next week, next Thursday, same time, same place. That means 1 p.m. Thursdays. Of course, remember we are doing CAT 2025. Okay. All right, let me leave you with this thought for today. Why don't you, or for this week, why don't you pick up one article from Aeon Essays and read it for yourself? Okay, that should be a fun exercise. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a nice day. I'll see you next week, Thursday, 1 p.m., same time, same place, same me. Adios, everybody. Hasta la vista.